We will start with the UNIX file system. So what do you know about file systems? About file, different types of files. Any idea? What are the different types of files are available? Okay, so whatever the data you have stored in the memory, it is in the form of file. Okay, where it contains information. So in case of Unix, you will be having not only Unix, in any of the operating system, you will be having thousands of files. Okay, so either it may be related to the device files or operating system files, or it may be your own personal files. So what exactly file contains? So file is a container. It is acting as a container for storing information. Okay, so you should be knowing what is the difference between data and information. Okay, so it is like some meaningful information or the data it is stored in a file. So as a first approximation, we can treat it simply a sequence of character. Okay. So as soon as if I tell the term file, so you can just imagine that it is a sequence of characters. Okay. So for each of the file in a file, it is not going to store its file name. Okay. It is going to store the information. So neither the file name nor its size is stored in a file. Okay. But then where it is storing? So for that we have a separate method of storing the file name, its inode number. Yesterday I was explaining about the inode. For as soon as you create a file, so there will be associated with inode number. And also I told about the links, hard links and soft links. So all the related information, it will be stored in the memory. Okay, so here also it is not storing its file name or its size, it will be just storing some information. But somewhere else in the system, it has to keep track of what are the files that is created. So file attributes are kept in a separate area. Okay, file attributes indicates that file name, what is the size, who can access. Okay, so where it is located. So all that information, it will be stored in a separate file in the disk. And these file informations are not easily accessible to the user. Okay, so but only to the kernel it will be able to. So like where I am storing my file, if I have created a file, okay, any C program file, where that details where it is stored I cannot identify, but operating system will be knowing that complete details, attributes. Okay, attributes includes name, size, the location, the permission details, who accessed, all that information it will be stored, and that will be accessed only by the kernel. So how you can categorize the files? So files can be categorized mainly three types. One is ordinary file, directory file, okay, and device file. So ordinary file indicates, so it is also known as regular file. So you can just note down at least the heading, the different basic, what is file, just note down what is file. So file is a container for storing information. And types of files. So mainly there are three categories. One is ordinary file. It is also called regular file. You can just note down ordinary file or regular file. So it contains only data as a stream of characters. It will be having only the stream of characters with related some information. So then directory. So directory, you are already familiar with the term directory. It is nothing but folder. Okay, containing the names of other files and subdirectories as well. Okay, so when I use the term directory, it is represented with a slash followed by the name of the directory, and that directory may contains some of subdirectory names. Okay, so like if it is home, then user, okay, user, then bin, like this you will be having. This is the main directory, the root directory, followed by the subdirectories. It is going to store the files in the form of hierarchy. Then you have device files. Okay, so this represents a device or peripheral. So with respect to any of the devices you have connected, either mouse or keyboard. So for each of the device, there will be a set of files associated with the peripheral. So those files are called device files. Maybe you're not checked like what is the file related to keyboard. So that it's not required for the user. So OS is going to take care of checking all these device files. So we'll just discuss in detail about these three types. Okay, ordinary files, nothing but regular file. So ordinary files are nothing but, so an ordinary file is most common file type containing stream of data, okay, or stream of character. So this type of file can be further divided into a text file or binary file. So text file where the human can understand, binary, so you cannot understand, it is represented in, computer can understand, it is represented in the form of zeros and ones. So text file contains only printable character, okay. So printable character means A to Z, 0 to 9, okay, all these things. It is going to contain the printable character. So all C, Java program sources and shell, Perl script. So these are all examples of a regular file, or I mean the text file. Okay, so whatever you are writing programs or documents, so these are all comes under text file. So text file contains lines where each line is terminated with a line feed. Okay, so terminated with a line feed, it is indicated with a character called lf. So that is nothing but new line. Okay, how we will write in C program? So as soon as you run your program, if it is reading the data, it has to go to the new line. So in the same manner, so in the file system, we have a special character called line feed. So that will be there in the text file. So next, binary file. So binary file, it is nothing but it contains both a printable and non-printable characters. So what do you mean by printable and non-printable characters? Printable I already told.
Non-binary ones like zeros and ones.
No, non-printable, not understandable, non-printable. So if you type A, you can able to see the character.
Enters.
Yes. Escapes. Okay. So all these we call it as non-printable characters. You can just Google it like what are printable and non-printable characters. So you will get a list containing what are the printable and non-printable characters. Okay, so non-printable, null, start, okay, end of the text, so tag, line feed, okay, these are all called non-printable. Okay, it is not going to print these things. Shift, and also you can just like slash n, it is also non-printable. Okay, thing is it is going to take the cursor to the next line. Printable character, so all the symbols, okay, special characters, numbers, ASCII values, everything it is printable. Okay, so most Unix commands are binary files, and the object code and executable that you produce the compiling C programs are also called binary files. That is, if you have written a C program, okay, when you compile and if you start running, what happens is when you compile, it is going to convert that high level language to low level language. That is nothing but it is going to generate the file, executable file, that is object program. If you open that object program, so you may not understand what it is, okay, because it is represented in the form of binary. Have you opened the object file anytime?
Also cannot answer.
So you can just check it. So where the human cannot understand, so most of the character either it is in the form of ASCII or it will be in the form of binary, you cannot understand it. So another example is pictures. Okay, even picture. So whatever you can view at the system with all the information, the background, okay, or scenery. So everything it is in the background or in the machine. It is stored in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so it is stored in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, even video files. These are all examples of binary files in regular file, so text file and binary file. So next we'll move on to directory file. So directory contains no data. Okay, it is not going to contain any data like a file. It does not contains any file or data, but it is going to contain a set of files. Okay, maintain some details of the files and subdirectory that it contains. Either it may contains directly file or it may contains the subdirectory. Okay, maybe directory within that another directory. Just give me a minute. Okay, so subdirectory, within that there may be a subdirectory and there may be set of files. So directory may contains combination files and also subdirectory. Okay, so in Unix file system, so that is the file system is organized with a number of directories and the subdirectories. There is no restriction like how many directories you are going to create, how many subdirectories. You can have a number of directories and subdirectories. So directory file contains an entry for every file and subdirectory that it houses. Okay, so that means there will be information keeping track of all these things. So what is the directory name, within that what are the files are available, everything it is represented in the form of hierarchy, that is in the form of tree structure. So I'll just show you how the files are stored. Okay, so here you can just go to any of the file. This is I have created. Okay, let me just go to this. Can you see here it is, these are all called files. Within that you have subdirectories. Within that subdirectory you may have some files and also there may be possibility of having directories, subdirectories also. Okay. Okay, so here I have not created any documents. You can just see only one file. Pictures. Okay, so that is how this is a file, PDF file, and this is a folder. Within that you will be having some more files. Okay, so this is how the information of directory it is stored. So if you have 20 files in a directory, there will be 20 entries in the directory. It is going to maintain the information like the name. Okay, so if this is the folder name or the directory name, associated with that there is an information like how many subdirectories are there and how many files are there within this directories. Okay, so that information it is going to, this is or the kernel is going to maintain. So each entry has two component. Okay, so what are those two information it is going to maintain? One is a file name, okay, and unique identification number for the file or directory. I already told inode number. Okay, as soon as the file is created there will be an entry like you will be having logs now when you log in. So if you check the logs it will show like who is logged in, what time they have logged in, how long they were active, everything it is going to show. Similarly it is going to maintain the directory information. Okay, directory followed by what is the files are existing. So in that files it is going to specify what is the name of the file and also inode. If it is a file it is going to specify what is the inode associated with that particular file. So who is going to assign as soon as file is created? So you are going to specify the name of the file, and the system is going to specify or assign inode number. So this information it is going to maintain for all the files and directories. And then we have device files. So every device file has some attributes that are not stored in a file but are stored somewhere else in the disk. Okay. So device file, I told you cannot see. If you just go to any of the folder, you may not able to see like what are the device directory or the files, but the kernel is going to maintain the information about the device files. So every device means whatever the devices you are connected, all peripheral devices, so as some attributes. If you take keyboard, okay, so it is having set of attribute information and there may be set of files associated with that particular keyboard. So all that information it is stored in the device file. Okay, normally in case if you are facing any problem, the usually the administrator they will be looking into these files, manage, okay, device directory or device files, everything they'll check. If you go here, you will get manage option, or if you right click. Okay. So task manager, you can see now here like if your task manager if you go, so it is going to show what are the programs are running currently. Okay. So like that even it is going to maintain what are the files related to the devices. Can you see there are so many programs are running. Okay. So if it is not running, the respective CPU time, if it is taking 0 means it is not running that. Okay, that particular application is not running. So similarly for the devices related file also it is going to store. So it will be there somewhere in the disk. Okay. So if you know like in detail about how to install and all those things, so it will be having that. So go to C drive, okay, program files, then in that you can just check, there will be some folders or the directories associated with the peripheral devices. Okay, in that you will be having some files related to the device. Okay, the kernel identifies a device from its attributes, then uses them to operate the device. Okay, so even if this mouse want to work, there will be a program for that. Okay, executable file it is there, so that as soon as if I connect mouse and start using, so that program is started running. Okay, so it is going to be taken care by the kernel, it is going to take care of running that corresponding file related to the mouse device, and it will start executing, and also it maintains complete information about the device attributes. Okay, what are the attributes of customer or the student, what you will tell? Attributes.
Name.
Name. Hmm.
Names.
Semester, branch, okay. So, which subject you are studying, what is your result. There are so many attributes, gender, phone number. So, similarly for the file also you will be having set of attributes. Okay, file name, file size. So, the file is related to what category of file. So, everything it is going to maintain in detail. So, as soon as you connect the device and start using, there is an like the kernel is going to check these attributes and the corresponding file is going to get executed. Okay, so this is about in brief about the different types of files. Okay, ordinary file, directory file, and device file. So next we'll go with the files. Okay, so Unix file names. So how to specify the file name? So what are the conditions you need to follow? Like if you want to set a password, you will get no. So it should be 6 characters, one capital letter, and special symbol. Similarly, file or giving file name also it is having set of rules you need to follow. So file name can consist of up to 255 characters. If it is exceeding more than 255, so you cannot save that file with that particular name whatever you are using. Okay, it is expecting only 255 characters. File may or may not have extensions. Okay, so if you remembered, I have executed some of the files or created some of the files without extension. Okay, and with the files with extension. So normally we'll use cat command to create the file. Okay, so I'll just use, so this is used for creating the file. So this redirection or greater than symbol, it is, I am using this symbol for creating the file. Okay, so now what it is doing, now it is entered into the file. Now I have to enter the data. Now I have entered the data. So if you want to go to the next line, press enter. So as long as you want the data, you just keep on entering. So once it is finished, the whatever the data you are entering, so you just press Control D. Okay, it is going to come out of the file. Now that file is created. So if you want to view that file, just type cat and file. Are you able to see the content? Okay, so this is how you can create the file. So is it I have used any extension here? Extension dot file name dot, no, I have not used any extension. Okay, you can use extension, it can have extension or it may not have the extensions. Okay, I'll just give HTML. Okay, I need to use the redirection operator. Now it is entered into the file. Now I am trying to create the HTML file. Okay, I'll start with HTML followed by title. Title you can give something and close the tag. Yes. After title you will be having head section. Okay. And then if you want to put anything heading information here, you can add it, or script you can add CSS script. If not, you can just close the head, then followed by body. Body, if you want to create any paragraph, you can just type close, close the body, close the HTML. This is how I can create the. So, okay, that's all. My program is over. Now what I have to do? I need to press Control, press Control Z. Okay, press Control Z. It is going to come out of that particular file. So now this file is created and it will be having this content. So where I have given extension .html. Just type ls. We'll be able to see that file. What is the name I have given? One I have given file. Okay, and another one I have given HTML. If you want to see cat file .html to see the content. Okay. There is one more command called touch command. So you can use this also for creating the file. Okay. So I will just use file 2. Now that file is created. Enter the data here. I may get error here. So touch help for more information. Created, yes, file 2 is created. So it is not required to use this redirection operator. Directly the command name followed by file name. Okay. So what is the difference between, this is just for creating the file. What is the difference between cat and this?
can specify the information which we want.
No, no, no. Even in touch also you can do that. So more than that, so if I use touch command with the same file name, you will get an error. Just we are not getting 1 minute. We'll see what is the difference between touch command and the cat command. So one main difference is like you will get an error using cat if you are trying to create the file name with the same file name. Okay, it will raise an error. So example, you can just go to the previous one. This is already existing. If you are trying to create the same thing, so cat is going to. Okay, let's not come in. Space one. No, no, no. Without space also it is going to accept just. So this is to view the content of the multiple files. Okay, you can view the more than one file content by specifying the file name. This is for creating the file, and this is to view the file. Okay, you can just give more or less how much information you want to specify. Yesterday I was explaining specifying more or less using this pipe command. Let's try little differences. So what are the main differences between cat and touch command? So normally we'll not use touch command. We'll go with the cat command. This is for giving the file name. This differences with respect to option. Okay, let me just tell you the part in the next class. What is the main difference between those two? So one difference is if you try to create a the file that is already existing using cat command, you are going to get the error, but that is not going to happen in case of touch command. That is the one main difference. So I will show you that output later. Okay, so your file may or may not have extension. Okay, that's what I explained. So either whatever the file you're going to create, it may have extension or may not have, depending on what you want to create. If you are creating C file and if you are not giving dot extension C, it is not considered as the C file. Okay, so wherever it requires proper extension, you need to specify. And what are the characters you are going to use? So normally it is alphabetical characters and numerals, and also it contains dot, hyphen, underscore. So all these symbols or the characters in the file. So file name can comprise of multiple embedded dots. Okay, it can have the file name can have many dots. So A dot, B dot, C dot. You can give the file name like this. It is going to accept as a valid file name. So file name can also begin with a dot or end with 1. Okay, so end with 1 means so the number like this. Okay, so it can end with the numbers also. So Unix is sensitive case, that means like I told, specifying cat it won't recognize. Okay, so it is because case sensitive, it can recognize only the lower case commands. Similarly, the chapter 1, it is different from this chapter 1. Okay, it is case sensitive. When you are giving file names, you should carefully give the file names. Okay, valid file names. So you can start with a dot and you see some characters, then underscore, some name, then list dot. These are all acceptable for file name. Okay. Then, so with respect to Unix, how the file is organized. Files are organized. So this is called as root directory. This is the main directory. Okay, so root directory always represented with a forward slash. Okay, then within that you will be having many other subdirectories. Bin. Okay, so where all the commands related to shell, so that will be stored. So I have used cat now, the related file it will be available in bin directory. Then if there are any device files, you will be having, there is a folder called dev, that is device file, where it is going to store the device file related, example disk related. Okay, so such files are, it is going to be stored in this directory. Then etc, then home directory. Okay, so in home directory if you have created any subfolders, that also you can see. Then within that directory there may be possibility of files stored. Then library, then sbin, stand, tmp, that is temporary, then user, var. Okay, user, once again it is having bin directory, include sbin. So like this, how the files are organized in the Unix operating system. Okay, this is the hierarchy, always starts with root, and mainly it will be having bin, device files, etc, then home directory, and followed by all these things. Okay, and within this it can have the user created files and directories, and also the subdirectories. Okay, so what it contains, each of these directory, how to represent the Unix files. One is slash bin. Okay, so if you want to refer this directory, you are going to specify slash. What is slash? Slash is nothing but root. Okay, from here where you are going, so you are going to specify this. So that's why slash from root. So you are referring bin directory, or slash bin. Okay, or you can just go with the home, and then slash, can you see, Kumar, then slash, in case if any directories are there, it is going to specify that, or it can specify the file name. Okay, if I want to access it, so you can just specify that directly. So that is how the files are organized in Unix system. So yeah, from this you can just understand where it can have regular files. Okay, device files. So there may be regular files. It may have the device files, and what is one more type of device file, type of file? That is directories. Okay, so each directory may have its own subdirectories. Okay, so here they have given some examples of each of these directory, what it contains. Okay, bin and user bin. So these are the directories where all commonly used Unix commands that is stored. Okay, so in the diagram you can see bin, so cat, date, who, commonly used. Whatever the commands we are executing now, so the relevant files are stored in the bin. That is root followed by bin. Don't get confused. Then here you have user, then you have bin. That is different. Okay. So that may contain some of the files related, like if the user has created some set of files, so that information it will be stored in this directory. So only thing is it is going to contain the binary files. Okay, the binary files. So what do you mean by binary file? I have already executed, like explained what are the binary files. Okay, executable files. So then sbin and user slash. So this is sbin where you don't have any login. Okay, so you can just see here there is no login. So login means I have not created any directory here. So this is with respect to directory. So now I am in home directory. In that I have created my own directory, subdirectories. Okay, so that is how In this you may not have any executable file. Okay, executable file, that is user created. Okay, if it is system or kernel created or kernel whatever the files it is managing, so that will be available in bin directory, especially all the commands, commonly used commands. Next we have etc. So etc, this directory contains the configuration files. Okay, so whatever the configuration information, so all that related files will be stored in this directory. Okay, so that's all. Next we will discuss the remaining part.